Thanks, John. This is the moment we've all been waiting for. The tie of the tournament so far. The world's most successful snooker player against the world's most naturally talented snooker player. Introducing, first of all, a winner of 36 ranking event titles. 7 times a winner in Sheffield. That's why they call him the King of the Crucible. Ladies and gentlemen, he is the pride of Scotland, Stephen Hendry! And his opponent, he secured a record-breaking 10th televised 147 on Monday. He knocked out Jimmy White yesterday. He is in sensational form. What lies in store? Let's find out, because blink and you'll miss him. Here comes the Rocket, Ronnie O'Sullivan.
What an atmosphere, what a match in prospect. It's a bit like Tiger against Phil Mickelson or Rangers against Celtic. Snooker clashes don't come bigger than this. Commentators for this one are Willie Thorne and Dennis Taylor.
Good afternoon, Rishi. I think it's even better than that. Well, the atmosphere,
first frame, Ronnie O'Sullivan to break.
Quite something special at the SECC.
Put the camera away now, please.
I think what we have here is the greatest player that's ever picked a snooker cue, and for me, he's at the table at the moment playing against Ronnie O'Sullivan, who could go on to be the greatest player that's ever picked a snooker cue up, but he still hasn't got the titles that Stephen Hendry has. Well, straight away, a red going up the other end of the table makes things slightly awkward. Place is packed for this match. Atmosphere doesn't get any better than this.
Yes, a lot of famous people around today as well. One of the lead singers from the musical Chess, Damien Hirst in the audience, the artist. And there's the magnificent auditorium, absolutely packed to the rafters. And to be honest, commentating is always a thrill, but I'm just waiting for this game. I'm just excited at what could happen. Hendry's not quite at his best anymore, but whereas Ronnie probably still is. So Hendry's going to have to up his game if he's going to win today.
So the safety area on the table is now behind the black. Somewhere tight on the cushion. Where's this red going? It's going safe. That's Damien Hirst with the glasses there, big friend of Ronnie's, loves the game of snooker, a renowned artist. This is the last thing both these players would have wanted, for the Reds to go up the other end of the table, but there's not a lot you can do about it.
Ronnie's reluctant just to run into the pack. He'd rather make the game a little bit more open. I'm surprised. I'm sure if he ran into the pack, Stephen Hendry would probably offer him the chance of a re-rack. They're always looking for something a little bit more spectacular to do, Ronnie.
Mark Williams, and the fellow with the scarf there, good friend of Mark's. You mentioned Chess the musical, he's the lead singer. James Fox is with Mark here and likes his snooker. Goes to the same hairdresser as you, Willie.
Obviously got plenty of style, hasn't he, really? And just in front of them was Stephen Hendry's father sitting watching this match as well. So there's a lot of people coming out the woodwork to watch this game. There's Gordon, one with the glasses, just talking to Mark Williams now.
Andrew Higginson there on the top left, yeah, still in the tournament.
Well, just over 6 minutes of play without potting a ball. There's every chance we could have a frame in less time than this before the afternoon's out. So that's the first aggressive safety shot, but a little bit short. I think the red between the yellow and brown will pot. And I can see Ronnie taking it on.
I think he can get past the green to pot the one that's closest to the pocket. So Stephen left that a long way short, and it could be costly. He was trying to cover that red. He wanted to be further up the table so that the red that's still near the cushion would have been blocking the one that Ronnie potted. And it's a very good chance. And we know he's in terrific form.
Five. 10. $11.
Yeah, he did take a risk,
18.
Stephen. And that's where he wanted to put the cue ball, and he left it a long way short. If it finished in the circle, he blocks the one that Ronnie potted, and he snookers for the other one.
19.
That's all academic. This frame could be over quite quickly if this little cannon works out.
$26. $27.
Not straightforward though, they're all sort of covering each other into both corner pockets. There's one or two that are available. And that's gone a little bit too far. I think he's out of position here.
34.
It's a tricky cutback to the middle pocket. Is he on that one? Maybe with it trace aside. He doesn't like it, it's a bit tight. So this in the middle pocket. He can still hold for the black, but it's not straightforward. But didn't he make it look easy?
35.
One next to the pink goes to the middle.
42. 43.
He's got the pace of this table to perfection.
50.
Some of the players were struggling. It's quite fast, the cloth, but Ronnie
51.
seems to be judging it absolutely spot on.
$58.
Looks as if he's going to have to cannon the reds when potting this one. So this is the only possible stumbling block, but you'd think he'd be able to run on through it. Well, in fact, he's screwing back. Yeah, the pink will go, so he's fine.
59.
Yes, he was just wondering whether the pink spot was covered, or he was just trying to work out whether he could still pot a red, and it looks like it is covered at the moment, and so it goes directly behind its own spot, and those two reds will probably, one of them will still pot. Well, the first 6 minutes of play there was no score. The next 5 minutes of play there's 65 and counting.
Well, with these top players, that's what they can do. They can play a tactical battle, and then when they get the chance, they can win the frame.
66.
This is frame ball. And having had 6 minutes of safety, this is a good performance from Ronnie.
And every chance of a century break. Ronnie's the closest one to Stephen Hendry. Ronnie's made 606 centuries. Stephen Hendry 748. The rest are a long way back. So you're watching the two
74.
greatest break builders that have ever played the game.
$79. 80. $85. 86.
Not going to be easy to make that century. That's nigh on impossible now. You need a fluke.
93.
Just hit this as hard as he can and hope to fluke it. Well, he's not really that bothered.
93 in the first frame, Ronnie O'Sullivan.
Well, it was a tactical frame to start off with. One mistake, it was all over. Ronnie O'Sullivan starts off with a magnificent 93 break. 1-0 to the Rocket.
Well, we sort of suspected that Ronnie O'Sullivan would be really up for it. I think you both highlighted that in your chat before the match started, and it's manifested itself, Steve.
Yeah, he looks very sharp and very focused. You know, a cagey start, one small mistake by Stephen Hendry, and it's pounced upon, and that is what we've come to expect from these two great players. As we said at the start, you know, that they are two of the best pressure players within the game, and players that are able to convert any type of chance into a frame winner.
I suppose the situation with Ronnie is that if he plays against players not of the stature of Stephen Hendry, he's not up for it. But when he plays someone like Stephen, does it make his mind more focused? Does he just concentrate and he wants to show everyone that he is the master?
Yeah, that's what we said. It appeals to him. I mean, there was a clearance against Jimmy yesterday. You know, he was a few behind, looked like it was going to go 2-2. There's the balls to get, got them all. You know, the other day, a couple of reds gone. He's looking for the 147 maximum. You know, got it. It's those things. It's when you've played as well as he has for such a long period of time. Things have to appeal to you. That's how it would appear with Ronnie. And today, this appeals to him because he's playing against someone he has the utmost respect for, and he knows over a best of 5 is a very dangerous opponent.
Yeah. And Steve, what about the situation from Stephen Hendry's perspective?
Well, you know, you go out there for a best of 5 hoping you get some chances. That's really how you've got to approach it.
Yeah.
And if you get those chances, you hope also that you convert some of them. But you just don't know how it's going to unfold. The storyline is very short.
Yeah.
And it can be sweet or bitter one way or the other. From Ronnie's perspective, sometimes I think in some of the matches, don't ever forget that the pressure can play its part in any game. And when you're expected to beat everybody, sometimes that's quite tough. So against Stephen Hendry, it's a fair fight in a way.
This is a massive frame though coming up for Stephen because, you know, he doesn't get a chance in here. You can see the match go away without even having a look at the table.
Hendry to break.
Well, Stephen Hendry getting the second frame underway. He didn't have a chance to pot a ball in the opening frame, so we don't know yet whether he's going to be doing well, but it's certainly a good break-off. The crowd today is absolutely magnificent. It really is just brilliant. I mean, people from all ages are in the audience today. I've seen people at 10, 12 years of age, and then the teenagers are in, and obviously they all love to see Ronnie and their legend from Scotland, Stephen Hendry, play. Lots of ladies in the audience this evening, probably come to listen to me commentate, do you think, Dennis?
Well, there's no answer to that, really. But I like listening to you. It showed you the importance of getting that cue ball near the cushion. He'll probably knock this red in now I've said that. He did try, but this is a bit of a chance for Stephen Hendry. But that was a good break-off shot, and had the white have been away from the cushion, Ronnie might have knocked that in. And the only problem for Stephen is it looks as if he's going to cannon a red here. Don't know if he can play. Well, he's playing a bit of a stun. He might find the gap here, but make sure of the pot. And he hasn't. And he's stuck the red up.
It's just gone a fraction thin to play the slow drag shot for the black. I mean, if this was just further to the right, you just roll it in really slow and play for the black. I just wonder whether he's going to risk playing for the black. See, with playing it that slow, anything, you see, that can happen. That was the problem, Dennis. When they're playing with the dragon side, that could happen.
No, look at the pace of that. He's just about okay. So the first pot, but this was Ronnie. Played with lots of bottom just to make sure that he stayed on black or pink, and he's baffled by that now. I'm not sure whether it drifted or whether it was the side that he applied unintentionally. As the boys in the studio said, this is a huge frame for Stephen Hendry in the best of 5. But he's got the chance.
Yes, and still nobody's won from 2-0 behind. And when Stephen Hendry missed the red, everybody in the audience was probably thinking, oh, Ronnie's going to make another 60 or 70 here, so it'll be 2-0. But very quickly, Hendry's gone favourite now, so it's a twitchy situation for Stephen, though. He knows he's going to have to play well. Has to put the frame beyond doubt at one visit against Ronnie O'Sullivan.
$16. $17. Seconds, please, Stephen.
Have to go behind the pack in a straight line with the brown, blue and pink and black spots. It's just rocking back there, the pink. There's a little indentation in the cloth. But mustn't be touching.
Thank you. 23.
Bit straight on the blue, so he's going to have to leave another medium range pot on a red. You mentioned about his cue action, Willie, in his last match, and I've noticed for quite some time now when he lines the shot up, we won't be able to see it from here. The cue is not in the middle of his chin. It's as if he was sighting slightly more with his right eye, and he knows about that, Stephen. He said it's just something that's happened. But
29.
In his prime, the cue was right in the middle of his chin. You can see it just more down the siding with his right eye.
30.
And we know what he's going to play next. He'll go straight into the bunch of reds, you would feel. Might have to run it off a couple of cushions, but he'll still play it.
Unlucky. There's a red still on in the middle, but
35.
It's tough. There you see the white. It played perfectly. The white took off, didn't it? It kind of almost stopped, and then the top spin got on it, and it whizzed through. If you could just roll this in and to leave the white on the cushion, it wouldn't miss the red. But obviously, on the cushion's no good, so that's why he's having to play with a little bit of power. But he still potted it. That was a good shot. That was the best shot of this frame so far. The break goes to 36. And now he has them in a position where he could win the frame at this visit.
You could see Stephen's eyes just dart to the pocket. He's the only player that's ever done that. Doesn't do it all the time, but
43.
Wouldn't this be something if he could win the frame with this visit and return the compliment?
44.
Because Ronnie won the opening with that magnificent 93.
And amazing enough, it's come off a Hendry miss, hasn't it? Because he left the ball right over the pocket, and I'm sure the audience were wondering what I was saying when I said it was a difficult red, because
50.
he had to play a slow drag shot to slow the white down. That's why I thought he might play for blue or bought colour. There you saw it. The side just took hold and missed the ball completely,
51.
and this is what's happened since.
The red at the back of the 4 goes, so anywhere near that white, doesn't have to be, just within an area of there, it'd be perfect.
A little bit of topspin needed
58.
here to try and push through the 2 reds. It's not guaranteed to push through far enough. I'm just wondering whether he's thinking about screwing it in to keep the white in open play. We'll know in a couple of seconds which way he's going to play it. He's playing the run through now. This is probably Ronnie's last chance in this frame. This could go wrong, but it hasn't. It's gone through nicely.
Well, it's great that Stephen's cueing well, because it all adds to this clash of the titans here. We know both players are cueing well. Both players got an unbelievable reception when they entered the arena.
65. .66.
And this is the one that counts more than any other. This is frame ball. Well played, Stephen Hendry. Well played, Stephen Hendry. 93 in the first, as Dennis just mentioned.
73.
And I think we could get a century here. And he just loves to make a century. He tries harder than any other player to make a century.
74.
As I mentioned earlier, he's made 748 of them in his remarkable career.
And add to that about another 10,000 in practice. I would think he's had at least 10,000 centuries in practice. But to get 760 in match play snooker
81.
is unbelievable.
You know, the great Joe Davis, who was 20 times world champion, well, he made just over 500 centuries, but that was in practice as well. So it just
88.
shows you the standard that Stephen has played at. Needs to pull up a little bit.
95.
It's got a very thin cut and has to miss the can on the blue. It'd probably be playing for pink or black off this red. What a shame, both players broke down. 93 from Sullivan in the first frame, 95 in the second from Stephen Hendry. The equation is simple. It was enough to win the frame. He's level at 1-all.
Well, hold on to your hats. We have got a serious match on our hands. Now, of course, for fans of Stephen Hendry, please remember that we still have that statistic that since the last 32 started, no one who's lost the first frame has gone on to win it. But what we have got is Stephen back up alongside Ronnie once again. And the thing is, Steve, I presume, is that at this level, you don't get many chances. So that's what you've got to take. When you do get one, you've got to really get in there and make the most of it.
Yeah, Stephen missed a red, left it over the pocket, and you expected Ronnie to go ahead and just sort of mop up the balls. And all of a sudden, Ronnie, the most bizarre situation is for Ronnie to miss a shot like this. And obviously he was trying to maintain control on one of the pink or black, and he said, look, a surprise on his face. You don't know whether it's rolled out or whether the side took. But for a fraction of a second there, John, I don't know. I think it looked like it rolled out in the last part. Is it the last slate?
Yeah, it could have done. The thing with that shot is what people might not realise is you play bottom left-hand side there to check it up. The first thing the cue ball does is go right, and then it didn't come back into the ball. That's why he's missed it. And as I say, it was a remarkable miss. But Stephen's cueing very, very well.
Ronnie O'Sullivan to break.
A little bit pacey with the break-off shot, but I think he may have covered the possible pot to the right corner. Well, the way Stephen's queuing up there, he might be able to get through to the potting angle. No, he can't, as you can clearly see there. But no return to the balk area for him. He's played it with side. He's played it with side. What a shot that was. He's played it with right hand side to just squeeze it round that red. That was a peach he pulled out there, and he could open things up here.
Yes, can't really get onto the black in either pocket at the moment.
8.
Those two reds are in the way. So it's not beyond the pink in the middle. He can just about get on the pink if he bounces it on and off the cushion. It's not quite hard enough to be perfect.
Well, this particular type of shot, you've got to cue them well. Just going to stun run through and leave himself a choice of reds into either corner. You just know the type of shot that can happen on, and he got a little bit of side there. He seemed to be striking the white on the left hand side and just pushed the pink into the cushion. So how costly is that going to be?
Yeah, he was a little bit unlucky though, Stephen, when he potted the black. He was just went in a place where it was awkward, and he could only just roll the red in the middle to leave the pink at distance rather than get on the pink close. Yeah, just see, look how he could have been on either of the corner reds, and the white just gathered speed and just left him very, very awkward. Oh, goodness me. That was a complete mishit. Never
6.
seen Ronnie do that.
Well, even these greats can sometimes suffer with a little bit of tension. Mind they're multiple winners, they're used to it, but you can expect a few nervy shots even from these great players.
Ronnie O'Sullivan 6.
Funny enough, the one in the balk's not a bad one to play because he can slow the white down by playing the cannon into the yellow. As long as the red doesn't catch the brown on the way back, this will be good safety. He could find the top cushion here as well. When he caught the brown, that was always going to be the problem, but I think it might be okay.
the top of the show, we were talking, telling you little facts about these two players, and one of them was in the final of the charity challenge. I'll never forget it as long as I live. Stephen was leading 8-2, and Ronnie won 6 frames in a row to level at 8 each. Ronnie broke off, put the white tight on the baulk cushion. Stephen Hendry knocked in a maximum break. Incredible that was. This is similar to the opening frame, a couple of reds up the other end of the table, which neither player would have wanted to have seen. And that's why Stephen's choosing this shot to resolve that problem. Oh, he's underhit that. He was hoping to get the white on the cushion there. Might be able to pot this red in the middle and get on the blue, believe it or not. There is an angle to do that if he can get it. If you can see enough of it, there's a possibility he could slide up past the brown. I don't think he can get on the black, but he could get on the blue. If it goes in the top pocket, he'll take it in there.
One.
And it certainly did, and right in the centre of the pocket. Just enough room to get past the pink there.
Yes, the key red is the one that's to the right of the black, but he'll probably need to move the blue out before he plays that one. I'm not sure. I think the red will pot, but it's a bit risky playing on that one particular red here. He's got 2 reds to the right of the pink spot, which is very, very easy to get on. So a little bit risky to play for the one that's just above the black, so he's played for the 2 loose ones. Doesn't want to be straight on this because the black's not really available. He wants to be able to try and get on the blue here if he can. I don't think he can get on the blue
3.
now. That's not a good shot from Ronnie. Just trying to make sure he doesn't finish straight on this red because he wants to get rid of that blue. The fact that he can play this next shot left-handed is a real bonus. Has he gone too far? Is he okay with this red?
8.
He's gone too far.
9.
So nothing straightforward at the moment.
Yeah, you can't get on a red off the pink. It'll have to be the brown. Well, does the red at the top of the bunch pot? If it doesn't,
13.
He's dropped on absolutely nothing. He was playing for that one just to the left of the blue as we look at it there. So end of break.
Just wonder why I didn't play the yellow then, Dennis, if you wanted to play that. The yellow seemed to be a good
Ronnie
angle to
O'Sullivan,
be able to
13.
screw just straight up the line. Probably because the margin of error wasn't as good on the yellow. You know, you've only got 6 or 7 inches to finish on, but playing the brown, yeah, the yellow looked perfect. I'm sure he could see enough of it, couldn't he?
I don't think he could see enough of the yellow, Willie. He was looking long and hard at it. Oh, he stuck the red up as well. That's poor from
miss.
Stephen.
Ronnie O'Sullivan, 4.
Oh, that's very poor. He's talking away at himself.
I saw a shot similar to that earlier in the week, Dennis, and I think it might square up off that one cushion there, to be honest. Because that looked a natural angle, didn't it?
Yeah, the players know the angle, and sometimes that happens and it comes off at a slightly different angle. But can he get to the potting angle of the red to the right of the cue ball? Maybe not. Well, he can. Or can he?
Yes, he appears to be able to get it, but once again, not guaranteed to be perfect on the black here. At the pace he's playing it, he's going away from the black.
9.
This is the pressure shot now. If it goes in, you would fancy Ronnie to win the frame from here. It's just in. Well played.
$16.
Yes, it seemed to square up that. They normally slide off the cushions and baffled Stephen a little bit, that one.
$17.
Well, he's on nothing. Can you see the blue? Oh, you can just see the blue. I thought he'd screwed back too far. Amazing from here, Dennis. It looked like he screwed back.
You've left your commentator's eye on the golf course, Willie. We played a couple of right carriages again today at Mar Hall.
$22.
The lead now 36, so 4 more reds of these remaining 6 should be enough. Well, game ball virtually.
Ronnie O'Sullivan, 22.
Stephen Hendry was out of his chair like a ground out of the box.
That is pure concentration. Okay, there was plenty of room to get past the other red. You'd have to put that down to just a lapse in concentration. How costly will that be?
$1.
He didn't quite get into that as he intended. Good
8.
recovery, but he needs another one, caused by not getting onto the black as he intended.
Stephen Hendry, 8.
So he's let that very good opportunity slip by.
$1.
And you know, Ronnie might miss the odd easy shot, but you can't give someone like this 2 and 3 chances.
Well, he doesn't really want to have to cannon into the 2 reds from the blue, but it's a way of slowing the white down. Didn't play to kiss them then, just played for the loose red. Now there's 34
6.
in front, so there's another 3 reds needed now.
Ronnie O'Sullivan, 6.
It's 2 misses now. 2 fairly comfortable. Just trying to force an angle there to get on the black, and once again you'd have to put that down to a lapse in concentration. That's not tension. Much easier to get up to the
6.
2 difficult reds from the blue, so I'd expect him to play for the blue.
Seven.
Well, that's not the best. I just wonder whether he might play the kiss onto the red on the cushion now, but if he misses the kiss, he's not necessarily going to be perfect. He's just finished a little bit too thin. No problem getting on the one near the pocket, but he may risk playing the cannon, but he didn't play it. Didn't want to kiss into the black. That's made things very difficult now, because he's going to have to go up for the blue again, and then the last
12.
red is very, very difficult to get onto a colour from. So he's not likely to clear from here.
$13.
Be interesting to see choice of shots here. I wonder would he try and just nudge the black out slightly. Well, he's gone a bit too far on the blue again, so the pink back on his spot this time will help if he puts that last red. Oh, he hit that very bad indeed, very poorly. I don't think it was a kick. I think it was just, well, look at this.
Stephen Hendry 13.
21 the difference. He never even got in the jaws of the pocket.
I think he can get through to this. No, he can't. Can't quite see enough of it. It looks like he's playing it with side to hit it from behind. That's just about as good as you could have hoped for.
Thank you. Yes, thanks.
He's okay. I thought the white was coming towards this corner pocket, but Stephen will be taking this on, but with the cue ball on the cushion, this requires extremely good cueing. This is tough.
Yes, even though Stephen Hendry's 21 points behind, you'd have to suggest whoever potted this red would go on to win the frame, because the balls were in very good positions until then. Now not necessarily who pots the red will win the frame, unless it was O'Sullivan.
They're still not bad, believe it or not, the blue, pink and black the way they are. The blue will pass the black, and you could roll the pink in, then roll the black in, so they're not out of play altogether at the moment. But are they going to play a part in this third frame? It all depends on who gets the red.
Very clever shot. If it doesn't go in off, this is excellent. What a safety shot that was. Brilliant.
Well, he's going to have to play with lots of side if he's going to go that side of the middle pocket. He'd need to get a terrific amount of side on it. I don't know if he can go the other side of the middle pocket and maybe make the angle. He has done. Now does this cut in?
Oh, 21 points in front, 22. Well, pink or black would leave Stephen Hendry needing snooker. Just having another look at the scoreboard, I don't think he can hold it for the pink. Could play with a lot of check side here and just slow it down. We've already seen him play this shot poorly once. I think he'll probably risk just getting on any colour, and yellow and green afterwards should be enough. Very clever shot that, in and out of baulk, perfect. So 22-26, just needs a yellow.
Five.
And that's where the left hand is so useful. The blue and pink were awkward, leaning across the table. He just switched hands and floats the yellow in.
How on earth has Ronnie won this frame with the shots he's missed? He missed 2 easy balls earlier on and still managed to get another chance.
Ronnie O'Sullivan, 7.
Just one snooker required. It's much too delicate to try and just roll up and try and play the snooker behind the pink. Ronnie have to be a little bit careful. He can't afford to roll the green over the pocket because Stephen could pot the green and the brown and then roll that blue in and get tight in behind the pink. Maybe a chance to bring the black into play here and play a good safety shot. This will help Stephen Hendry's case.
And he played the pot there and missed it by considerable margin. So he's got plenty of balls to snooker behind now. He could play the screw on and off the cushion, try and get the white in behind the brown and send the green up the other way, but it doesn't look like he's playing that. He's playing the thin one, and I don't think he's hit this very well. Didn't play it behind the pink, that's for sure.
Well, does the green, well, there's the answer I was going to say, does the green pot. It's not easy from this angle. But the brown's in a much better position now to get a snooker. If you could get in behind that, brown would almost be impossible to hit. But will Stephen ever get a chance to try and get the white in there? Needs the black to come to the rescue here. You can just see enough of it. He almost went it off.
It was almost after the Lord Mayor's show, wasn't it? 93-95, the first 2 frames. No breaks above 30 in this one. But there was a little bit of tension in this one.
12.
Well, he wants to pop the black as well, Ronnie. So enormous mistakes in the 2 opening frame. It was just one visit from either player. A few mistakes in that 3rd frame, but it's Ronnie O'Sullivan who takes it, and he leads 2-1. He just needs one more frame.
Ronald Antonio O'Sullivan, a.k.a. the Rocket. His speed, ability, and enigmatic behavior make him the game's #1 draw. He sped into the fast lane by winning the 1993 UK Championship at just 17. 4 years later, the fastest ever 147 in 5 minutes 20 seconds. By 2008, the Rocket was in top gear with 3 Crucible Maximums to his name. A regular feature at the top of the rankings, he's banked over £6 million in prize money. 22 ranking titles, including 3 world crowns, confirm his status as one of the greats.
More than £6 million in prize money, and he didn't want to make a 147 the other day. What's he on about?
I know. It just shows you, though, going back to that frame there, we had 2, obviously very good total breaks in those first 2 games.
Yeah.
You come to the last one, doesn't matter how many games you've played, how many matches you've played, and how many times you've played head-to-head, when the tension is on, you can miss anything. And there was a few balls missed in that frame that they'd never, ever believe. There was a pink in there, Steve, wasn't there?
Yeah, I mean... unfortunately for Stephen Hendry, what does seem to have crept into his game, if you're going to sort of like start ripping a player to shreds, which is horrible to do in the studio environment, but like the unexpected miss by quite a long way, and that didn't even sort of threaten the pockets, and you wonder why. You start asking yourself questions as a player: is there a technical problem with your game? And unfortunately, they're quite debilitating, those mistakes.
Is there any reason why a player of his calibre would miss?
It's strange. As I said to you the other night in his first game there I watched, he played really well, cued great, and then all of a sudden there was an inexplicable miss from somewhere, and that was one of those frames that happened there. There's a lot of tension out there at the moment.
Yes, and that was a very careless break-off shot from Stephen Hendry. Very careless. I'm surprised he played it near the yellow, the cue ball there. Most players break off pretty close to the brown, but that could be his last shot.
One.
Is he on this black? He is. Yeah, you mentioned the break-off shot in the white near the yellow. He did it in his previous break-off shot and played it perfectly, but that time he didn't judge it correctly.
9.
And he might take the opportunity, although there's 4 loose reds. Let's just see how Ronnie O'Sullivan plays this. No, he's going to pick a few of them off before he goes into the bunch. We know he goes into them quite
16.
early. I would
17.
suggest this time.
Well, you can have this in writing, Dennis. I think this time he'll go into them. He just is a master break builder. He's playing against the world's best break builder, but
24.
He's probably learnt an awful lot off Stephen Hendry. We know he's already had a maximum. Just look at the shot he played here. A little bit of screw just to open them up, spin it back for the black. Or for the red, I should say.
25.
Well, the 4th black coming up. And we know that always means something a little special to Ronnie O'Sullivan. And he's got a chance to stay on the black. That controversial, talked about maximum break took him ahead of Stephen Hendry. They both had made 9
32.
maximum breaks on television. Ronnie now leads by 1. Can't play for the black this time.
33.
It was nice to hear a friendly voice on that montage of Ronnie O'Sullivan we saw when they were setting the balls up. The voiceover there was Cliff Thorburn, and it was really great to hear him talk about the lads.
Well, he's been overplaying in the Legends, and in fact he won. He beat
36.
Jimmy in the final of one of them, so he did win one of the Legends tournaments that we played. So he can still play a bit, Cliff Thorburn. And will be playing
37.
in the World Seniors Championship coming up in November in Bradford. Joe Johnson putting that one on, and I'm sure the crowds will enjoy that. I think it's at the Cedar Court Hotel in Bradford, so some decent prize money there for the old boys to play for.
Meanwhile, there's 100,000 to play for here, and Ronnie O'Sullivan now
43.
in prime position to get his name in the hat, in the draw as it were, which is being drawn at 7 o'clock this evening. Got a really famous person pulling the balls out this evening.
44.
Who's doing the draw this evening, Willie?
I am, thanks for asking. Well, this is fabulous again from O'Sullivan after the last frame. They couldn't make 30 between them. All of a sudden, one chance. Stephen Hendry's only shot was the break-off. And that's one of the stats that Stephen Hendry's not at his best now. You'd probably notice there his pot success rate, 86%.
50.
When he was at his best, always above 90, always. So he
51.
obviously misses even though Ronnie's missed 2 or 3 easy shots, he's still at 94%. Just not quite in top form today, but Stephen Hendry's played well in this tournament.
Well, it looks as if that
58.
break-off shot's going to cost him the match. Close to the yellow, lots aside, but didn't hit them thick enough. Shouldn't be catching the blue.
59.
This is Stephen Hendry's last chance. Not guaranteed to get onto a red perfect here, but if he does, it's all over.
Yes, and when Stephen made that 95 break in the second frame, I thought he was going to push on from there.
66.
But we showed that easy pink, and the boys were talking about it in the studio, and you can't afford to miss that type of chance against someone like Ronnie O'Sullivan.
Yeah, one of the problems with that shot, he's playing every shot with help inside, i.e. that down that side of the table. He's just playing with left-hand side. He's just pushing into him. I think he grips secure a bit tight and just pushes into the shot, and that's something that's crept in. Oh, just about game ball that was. That was a little bit of a twitchy one.
Ronnie O'Sullivan, 66.
That was a twitchy one.
Yeah, and this red next to the pink, if it doesn't go to the middle, as we show you this straightforward shot with a rest, if it doesn't go to the middle, it'll go up into the corner. But it looks as if he can get it in the middle pocket. No, it's going to have to be the... Well, he's got down a couple of times to play it in the middle. It's there. Good start.
1.
He couldn't do it, could he?
If anybody could, this man could.
This is handy as well, because this red pots and obviously brings the other 2 reds into play. The one on the right-hand side is not too
7.
bad for a right-hander, but the one on the left's going to be the stumbling block. If
8.
he had an angle on this black, he would play to move the red out now, but he doesn't have the angle. He'd love to get that red out very quickly rather than leave it till last. Doesn't have that angle though to do that. Now perhaps he can leave an angle this time. An angle on the
15.
black, move the red off the cushion, still be on the other red. That's what he'd be thinking.
Sixty.
Don't think he's got the angle again, so he's missed a chance there, Dennis. I don't think he even sussed that he could drop low on the black.
Yeah, I think at the moment he just wants to keep potting them and then worry about those 2 difficult reds. He's overscrewed that. Now, where has he put that one? That was a bit of tension in the old arm to
23.
overscrew it by that much. And, well, Gordon knows that he's still got a chance, as does Mark Williams, who's sitting behind him, but he's missed the boat somewhat with this screw back. Just got into it too much.
Here's another player who's had plenty of battles with Stephen Hendry and Ronnie O'Sullivan, Mark Williams, isn't he? It's so nice to see him playing well again, Mark Williams. He's been sadly missed, really, for the last couple of years. He's battled his way back from number 48 in the world, amazingly enough, now to be in the top 8 again. And he's playing fabulous.
Stephen Hendry, 23. Which one? Cameraman on the right? Yeah. Yeah. Okay, have you spoken to him? Yeah, thanks.
I think there was just a photographer there, just in the line of fire, so to speak. Now, Stephen tried to get in behind the blue there, didn't quite manage it, but it's left it rather awkward for Ronnie. There's no easy way back down to the safety area. And he's done well to make that angle, but there may be a pot on for Stephen. Doesn't want to be hampered with the brown. Well, that's a result and a half for Ronnie O'Sullivan.
Well, Ronnie looked up to the commentary box there as if to say, boy, what a bit of good fortune I've had there. And it was a massive bit of good fortune. Played the shot beautifully, just a little bit too hard. And I think actually it sprung off the top cushion a bit quick, this one. And I don't know whether we'll see his face here from this angle when he walks back to the chair, but he's very fortunate.
Well, this is amazingly difficult. He's going to try and pot this, but that was almost impossible. And as he stuck the red up, he hasn't got away with it. So a little bit of bad luck there for Stephen Hendry, not been able to get his hand on the table. So any colour, one. Is the end of this enthralling match. I thought we might have had a last frame decider, but it's not going to be. But both players have made 90 breaks. Ronnie also had a 66, so the standard was pretty good. A few missed balls.
5.
It's been pretty entertaining, this.
Stephen has ever been the gentleman he is, just sitting down, letting Ronnie do his work here. He knows now he's out of it. Just over an hour's
10.
play in this match.
11.
Might have snookered himself, but it doesn't really matter. Stephen will come
17.
forward.
And come forward he does. Stephen Hendry, the 7 times world champion. They've both enjoyed the match there. He just had a good bit of run of the ball, I think he's saying to Ronnie O'Sullivan there as he finished above the brown. But Stephen Hendry bows out. He loses to the legend that is Ronnie O'Sullivan by 3 frames to 1.
Oh, fantastic stuff, and nice to see Ronnie and Stephen sharing a few words at the end of this match.